Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of our Adobe Photoshop tutorial brought to you by OneLearn. In the previous episode, we talked about using the rectangular tool, selection tool, the elliptical selection tool, the single row selection tool, and the single column selection tool. In this video, we are going to talk about the lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool, and the magnetic lasso tool, and how they work and how we can use them while working on projects in our Adobe Photoshop workspace. So far, we have discussed the move tool, the rectangular selection tool, the elliptical selection tool, the single row selection tool, and the single column selection tool. In this video, we are going to continue with the lasso tool. Now, the lasso tool is just another selection tool, basically, but this one doesn't give you the opportunity to select with any form of shape or line or row or column. It actually allows you to select to make your selection on your workspace with your mouse, freehand, no assistance whatsoever. So you are given the opportunity to make the selection yourself however way you like. Let's say, for example, I want to select this bulb. Make my selection obviously, but I cannot use obviously I can use rectangular tool, I can use elliptical tool, I can use single row, I can use single column because it is not in any of these shapes. This is where these tools come in. Now the lasso tool allows me to make a selection. I'm just going to click and drag. You can see I am dragging it myself, selecting the area that I want. Now for this tutorial, I'm just going to speed it up. Okay, so I am selecting the area that I want. Now, in order to complete your selection, all you have to do is make sure that your beginning point meets up with your end point. And voila, you made your selection. And you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can copy, or sorry, you can make a layer via copy or layer via cut. You can create a new layer. It's your choice. So whatever you are doing with your selection, it can be done now that you have used the lasso tool. Now you can drag your selection, of course, just the way we used it in the rectangular tool, the elliptical tool, single row, and the rest. You can easily drag your selection. You can do whatever you want to do with this selection, but what you need to know is that the lasso tool allows you to make your selection like a freehand sketch. Now let's move on to the next tool. The next tool available is the polygonal lasso tool. Now the polygonal lasso tool, of course, still doesn't work with any shapes, but it works with lines, straight lines actually. So if you want to make a selection with polygonal lasso tool, I'm going to zoom in. Okay. If you want to make a selection with polygonal lasso tool, all you have to do is click from one point to another to make a straight line. Then keep clicking to make your selection. Now it works with straight lines. I'll give you an example. This is one line, one line, one line, one line. You keep clicking to bend your line. And like the lasso tool, in order to finish up your selection, all you have to do is join one end to another end, and you successfully made your selection using the lasso tool. The polygonal lasso tool is actually pretty amazing when you want to make selection on edges. It gives you the opportunity to actually make selection on edges. I'm going to go zoom in. Okay, lasso tool. Sorry, that's the wrong start. There we go. Let's say, for example, I want to make this kind of selection. You can see that I'm actually making it using straight lines, but I am clicking at the perfect point, hereby making my straight line look like I'm actually covering it. Now, this tool takes a lot of patience if you're a beginner, but of course, if you become a professional, you can actually work really fast with it. It all takes practice. So if you just keep clicking and clicking and clicking and keep going, you would actually be able to completely select the area you want to select. Now I'm just going to click onto the end. So there we go. I have successfully selected the area I want to select. You can see it actually looks pretty smooth for a shabby job. Okay, so now the Polygonal tool is actually pretty nice. Just as much as you can use the Lasso tool for freehand, Polygonal tool is also freehand, but rather than drawing it yourself, you actually make it with straight lines. Now moving on to the next one, the magnetic lasso tool. Now the magnetic lasso tool, like the name implies, is magnetic. So if you want to make a selection, click your first point, and then you don't have to click anymore. Just keep going, and the tool will help you select the edges of any particular object it sees on your screen. You can see it's selecting the edges right now. You can make your own point. Maybe if the application is not selecting a point for you, you can make your point by clicking, and then you continue. You can see it is actually selecting perfectly. I'm going to stop here. Now, so the magnetic tool actually helps you select edges by determining the color on the pixels of those edges. So it's magnets to areas of similar color that seem like an edge. So Photoshop is an application. Of course, it works with programs, codes, and all that. So it has been coded that when you're using the magnetic lasso tool, it will seem as if it's magneting to a particular surface, but rather it is just following similar pixels with a particular color pattern. So if you keep moving like that, you'll probably be able to select round. As you can see, it's actually more perfect than the lasso tool and the polygonal lasso tool, but you should know that it doesn't always work perfectly. That is where the other tools come in. It doesn't always work perfectly, but in this case, it seems to have done a very nice job. Now, these tools are very essential when you are working with freehand and you're not being allowed to work with any shape, and you have to select a particular area that you're looking for on your project. In the next video, we'll continue with the quick selection tool and the magic wand. In this video, we went into a discussion talking about how we can use the lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool, and the magnetic lasso tool. We talked about how each of them work in their own unique way. Now, in the next video, we are going to be talking about using the quick selection tool, the magic wand tool. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be as awesome as the previous episode. So sit back and relax and enjoy this tutorial.